Welcome to the Western Montana Fair.
Hi, my name's Karen Bonomo. I'm the manager, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about what the exciting things that are happening this year at our 2002 fair. In concert will be Chris Ledoux, and we're having the Great Cats of the World, camel rides, we'll have a petting zoo, pony rides, we'll have Karen Quest with cowgirl tricks, and again the traditional activities that happen every year. And we are going to encourage everyone to bring their cakes, cookies, flowers, and all kinds of good items to the fair and participate.
We're going to have a carnival.
Of course, the big carnival. Lots of fun rides.
I'm Jim Sadler. I'm the superintendent of the Floriculture building. And in that building, we do 3 flower shows, which are really quite exciting, a regular standard flower show, a rose show, and a dahlia show. And we also have at the fair the other open classes. What do they call that building that where they have all the quilts and things?
The home arts.
And then we still have all the cooking and the art and the painting and
Culinary photography.
Right, a lot of exciting things. Things that where you can bring your children and the whole family can participate. That is probably one of the major things in our county, and this is how we participate.
We do have something new also, a pathway to education that is with the College of Technology, and you will be able to come out and go to the health fair, welding demonstrations, and at different times. So we're very excited about partnerships with the College of Technology.
And we have the schools, aren't they there?
Yes, schools.
Yeah. All the school displays, all the children's artwork is going to be on display, which is really quite exciting. Mm-hmm. I remember going looking for my children's, and they were always so happy to see their items at the fair.
Absolutely. We can't forget the livestock and the horses, parimutuel horse racing.
Oh, yes. 4-H, FFA.
Rodeo, Bolorama, I mean, something for everyone. We'd like to encourage everyone to come out and enjoy the Western Montana Fair. We have 4 extra days of horse racing, which begin July 27th, and then the fair begins on August 6th through the 11th. So come out and join us. Our theme this year is Come and Get It.
Hello, my name is Jim Sadler. I'm the superintendent of the Floriculture building for the Western Montana Fair. Today we're going to be discussing how to do entries for the horticulture portion, and I brought with me a federated judge.
Hi there, I'm Carol Neal, a member of the Garden City Garden Club and a accredited flower show judge with the National Council of
Garden Clubs.
Garden Clubs.
Right. They recently changed their name out of Associated
Thank you.
To just Garden Clubs of America, I think now, which is a very good position as a judge, because you had to go to 5 schools.
Oh, 5, yes, definitely
5 schools over all the years, so there's a lot of work to get here. What we want to show you is how you can bring an entry to the fair and how you can win a ribbon. Now this is a zonal geranium, and it could be entered as a house plant, and it's in need of some help, Carol.
It definitely is in need of help.
And I've always been told that you can take a 3rd place entry and groom it up to a 1st place entry if you know how to do the right grooming and if you start out with a fairly decent plant.
Well, Jim, you know there are 2 main things to win a balloon ribbon. 2, actually 3 main things you should know. You should know proper grooming, proper growing, and the proper identification of a plant.
Okay, so when we're doing the entry for this, we should know what it's called. And I have a little cheater here. If you're really quite smart, you save your tags. I keep a book at home in which I just paste my tags or my seeds, seed packets, and so forth. Or before I had the book, I just had a big bucket that I threw everything in. This one's called Violet, which is a real pretty color. And it doesn't say much about it.
It really isn't a violet. It's more of a shocking pink or a fuchsia.
Well, I mean, it's named after a lady named Violet.
It could be the tag is wrong, too, so be very careful.
Right. Oh, let's say it's named after a lady named Violet.
Actually, this plant looks like it's grown. It has good growing care, good care really. The leaves are beautiful. They don't, few brown leaves down here, but it looks very healthy.
So you take off these things, don't you?
Right.
All the yellow leaves. And one of the things that is really important when you groom a plant for the fair is that
Take it out.
the pot is clean, that it is the proper size, so you don't have a little tiny plant in a great big pot.
The plant must be in proportion
Right.
with the size of the pot. Right.
And also you bring them in with a underliner like this green here. And the reason is because when we water them at the fair, we want to be able to water them. If the water spills over, you haven't ruined our display. Now, see how lovely this turned out?
You know, this plant is extremely healthy, and an important issue is insect damage. You must definitely remove any insect-damaged leaves, and leaves with holes, leaves that show any damage at all.
And especially these little tiny pieces of materials. And you use your scissors. These are
That's
really helpful.
improved a lot.
You see, you can actually take and you can cut your leaf to take out
A damaged portion?
right, as long as you kind of follow the general outline of the leaf so that it doesn't look too fakey.
You wonder why a judge is so picky. Picky, picky. They always say we're very picky. Why does a little hole make my plant less important than the next entry? Well, these plants are judged on a scale of points. And if this plant and a similar plant were both very, very good, you can only give one blue ribbon. So therefore, the judges then have to look for items to reduce the points in one or the other plant.
So if you have little debris here and the other plant has no debris, well, this one would have a point below on it.
There should be no evidence of sprays. Any dust, you know, for insect sprays, nothing like that should be on the plant as well.
And I remember my mother used to use milk on her philodendrons and so forth. Don't do that. No
Plant shine.
No
No
plant
plant shine.
No plant
Definitely
shine.
no plant
Although it's
shine.
pretty at home and
It is.
so forth.
It is.
For a flower show, no plant shine. We have a philodendron here, and this is in a kind of a similar idea. Okay, here, I got it. This is a philodendron, and it has would be entered in the class for a all foliage plant. Oh, you stuck this on there? Okay, because
I didn't.
Well, it has damage on the leaves, so those would have to be cleared off. And this is an example of of the large blue ribbons that we win at the fair. These are for the
Best of show.
Best of show, right? Which is only one is given in the horticulture area, so it's really important. Now, this plant here, to have brought it to the show, you should use a little bit of clear water on a little rag, and you go through and you individually clean every one of these leaves so it looks nice and shiny. Putting it in the shower.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And just fill it all up so it looks nice and healthy. And you make sure that there's no bugs, because if there are bugs, that means that I have to spray it so that so that everything else doesn't get bugged.
Now, this container is a little bit dirty, isn't it?
Yes.
Wouldn't that have to be polished up and cleaned
Right.
long before the
You
show?
would do that. And
And how long do I have to own a plant before
60 days.
I can enter?
That's right.
60 days.
So if you go to a greenhouse and buy your lot of your potted plants, you have to have had it for 60 days in your own ownership.
To prove that you can take care of a plant. You
Correct.
can't just buy it and bring it to the fair.
Right.
That would be cheating.
Well, you buy a $6 plant and get a $3.
So it's really an
Previous.
honor system, you know,
Right.
isn't it?
Right. Well, the judges have a kind of a look. Plants bought it from greenhouses have kind of a look to them And so we kind of know, and we'll ask, is this a greenhouse plant? And if people say, well, it's been for 60 days, we believe them.
It's like buying a floral design from a florist and entering it. You can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell.
They're just done differently.
So don't cheat.
Now, we're come to the day of entry. What do we do to get ready for the fair? Carol, we have some flowers here. This is a lovely little basket that has wire across the top, and I see you placed various flowers in here. This is, these are Sweet Williams. And you would do the same thing with the Sweet Williams as we did with the potted plants.
Well, wouldn't you take care of your plants first before you even cut them? You
Yes.
should plan your garden, plan your growing season, fertilize, keep those insects off your plants. That's the first thing you really do before you even think about cutting,
Right.
right? Take care of your garden.
That's correct. And the schedule calls for 3 blossoms. Now, that's what these are because they come together on a stem. This would be considered
One, right?
1, 2, 3. Now, the other interesting thing is that the stems should all be the same height. So you make sure that they're all cut about the same length.
But isn't it true that your blooms should also be of equal size?
Yes.
And
Because-
usually, according to the schedule, sometimes equal color, the same color, but sometimes they can be a variety.
Correct.
So
And
actually reading your schedule is more important than anything, right?
that's right, because see, we have a problem here. Look at this blossom. It's much smaller than these two.
So they're not, wouldn't that be true for your fruits and your vegetable entries as
Right.
well? If your entry calls for 5 apples, they should be all of equal size,
Correct.
equal color, equal maturity.
Right, because one of the things that you're doing in comparison is you're comparing the 3 individuals, you're judging it as individuals, and then you're comparing them to each other. And you have some bottles here?
I do, I do.
And one of the things that's so very important is that when you put your plants in your bottle, that there can be no leaf underneath water. And the reason for that,
This would be a no-no. You would have to strip everything off of here
how about another different
that
bottle?
goes on.
How about that one?
Well, that would be only for maybe, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. There's this one. And these for like this.
Your choice of bottle is very important. You really wouldn't want to put a pansy, a petunia in this bottle, and you wouldn't want to put a delphinium in this bottle. It would be totally out of
It would be pretty
proportion.
hard.
Well, there are some people that bring in tiny little plants in a bottle this size.
Okay, here we have a problem. See, there are 3 different heights. And the schedule says they have to be all the same height.
When is the best time to cut your flowers, Jim?
I always cut mine the night before, and I put them in lukewarm water, and I then take them right to their necks, like in a bucket, you know, the buckets you buy soap in, or you can go to the grocery stores and buy white buckets.
I think I have a bucket like that.
Yeah.
You're talking about this kind of bucket?
Yeah, these kind of
A nice
buckets.
deep bucket?
Right, so that you can put your plant right in.
Deep, right?
Yes, so that it absorbs water. And then you let it cool off, and you put it in a cool spot, and then you bring it out in the morning. And if they have problems, it'll show then. Because it's nothing worse, because once your entry is in, you cannot go in and change it until after judging. After it's been judged, if you've won the top ribbon for it, you're allowed to come in and put a replacement, because people want to see the best entry possible.
So you're saying, too, that it's wise to cut more than the required amount.
Right. I always
Play it
do.
safe, right.
Play it safe. Because there's an old story. The hardest thing to get to a flower show is getting there.
Transportation is very
Transportation.
important.
Because many times the stoplight will come, all your stuff kind of bangs forward.
Well, wind damage,
Right.
accidents,
And
spills.
spills, right.
Right.
So always cut a little more, and that way you know. And here's another, these three are interesting because they should all be of the same maturity. You see, these three daisies are not of the same maturity. Here, this is a lot more mature than these
So you
two.
wouldn't enter a bud with a full bloom.
No,
This would not be considered two flowers.
No.
It's just a bud.
right. See, this is too mature. Now, since we're talking about this one, at the rose show and at the regular standard show, you would not enter a rose that appears like this. And the reason is you have to have disbudded flowers. And a disbudded means that it's a
This is without a bud.
that's right, no bud. You have one single blossom.
It's beautiful.
Right, see how it improved it? 3/4 open. See, it's not full blown. And what you're looking for in a rose especially is this gorgeous single center. Do you see how tight it is?
Is this Tropicana?
Yeah, I believe it is Tropicana. See? How it's all nice and tight. And also when you're looking at it, all the petals all kind of fall evenly all around. And the leaves all come out on different levels, all the way up, and you see all the good leaves. Now, because this was disbudded so late, like a minute before the show, this would be cut down a few points,
And they could tell.
and the judges can
It's a fresh cut.
I
It's not
have-
cut while the plant is growing.
Right. Here's another one. I cut this one specifically to show. This one wasn't disbudded. This is grand. See, and how it needs to be cut so that we have our perfect blossom.
Did we mention that after cutting it should be kept in a cool place?
Yes.
We did mention that.
Put
A
in lukewarm-
refrigerator?
Well,
The florists keep theirs in the refrigerator.
yes, but a florist refrigerator is different than our refrigerators.
Oh.
See, our refrigerators are frost-free, which means they take water out. So if you put your flowers in a frost-free, it'll actually take flowers out, water
Moisture
out of the blossom. Now, in a real tight race for top flowers, if this has been dehydrated because of the amount of water in it, it will be cut down in the show.
Would spraying with a mist help?
Yes.
I mean, while they're in the refrigerator, if
Well,
if it's
I
hot
know.
in the summertime,
Some people, they'll put a bag over it or something, trying to keep it. The best way is if you can find one of those neat old refrigerators, with two ice trays in the middle, with a frost around the side. The kind we couldn't give away.
the old ones.
The old ones, right. People who have roses and dahlias and so forth covet those type of refrigerators because they actually add moisture to your flower. And that's what a florist refrigerators are like, frost-free. Now, you can get away with a lot of flowers putting in the refrigerator, but
So in other words, keep it in the coolest possible crawl space, maybe,
yes, out of direct sun,
air-conditioned home,
yeah. I keep it underneath a tree outside.
wherever it's cool.
Wherever it's cool.
Wherever it's
You
cool.
start out with lukewarm water and let it cool. And I have had good experience using 7-Up or one of those clear carbonated drinks. You just put a little bit of sugar water, not diet, because you want the sugar. And you put a little bit of that in the water, and that kind of feeds it.
Speaking of sugar, I think cutting the flower early in the morning or late at night, isn't that because that's when the flower has the most sugar content
That's true.
and it keeps fresher?
That's right.
So sugar plays an important
Right,
part.
because that's what's making it look healthy. These are corabelles, and you see here, this is a little on the short side. So just like those others, you would make sure that you're choosing. We have a lot to choose from here. You would choose ones that are about the same size and the same amount of little florets. See, so this one's a little less. So you wouldn't choose that.
Now, if the schedule calls for a certain length
correct?
For the arboreal
Oh, yeah.
specimens.
Right.
I think that means, in fact, I know it means, the length they require is from the very tip of the flower to your cut end. So this is an 18-inch ruler. So if I were required to have an 18-inch length, I would have to cut it right here.
Right.
Keep a ruler with you. If that were 20 inches, 25 inches, and you entered it, you most certainly wouldn't win a blue ribbon. Or you
No.
would have some points taken off.
You would have.
Depending upon the competition.
Yeah, evergreens, you know, are not put in water. You just lay them out. If you're cutting other kinds of branches, it's best to soak them overnight in a bathtub.
Oh, yes, that's good.
Because what soaking overnight does is the leaves get saturated with moisture, and that's what you're trying to save.
Another good hint is if you have a begonia or a large specimen such as maybe this,
Oh, gorgeous
this peony, and you really have no way to pretend this is a begonia, and you have no way to display it because a begonia has short, stubby stems.
Mm-hmm.
You can take a bowl such as this, put saran wrap over the top, and just puncture a hole in the saran wrap so that the begonia stem would go right through the saran wrap, enter the water, and just that saran wrap would invisibly hold up the bloom.
Right, and this is in our schedule. It's on a Rule 2, how to display begonias. And the interesting thing is on begonias is that you only display the female flower and the male flowers are.
And how do you tell the difference? I have never
They're the
heard.
ones on the sides.
Really?
See, in a begonia here, it would be the large center flower, and they have the little flowers
The
off the
side
sides.
shoots?
Yeah,
How interesting.
it's kind of a sexist thing, but they remove the male flowers and leave only the female flowers.
This looks like a blue ribbon winner.
I would think so.
The stem is a little curved. I think it is not a blue ribbon winner. The judges do
Well,
look at the curve of the
It
stem
only
in
has
many.
it only has to have 90 points, and you surely wouldn't take off 10 points for that crook. So it could be like a 94, 95 and still win.
What are the main points to look for in your dahlias? Or the main items that judges look for in dahlias?
Well, the dahlias we have in our schedule, and we also have a dahlia show, which is on Saturday. And judges are looking for form and how well grown they are, and their condition, and their color.
Basically the same as any other plant.
Right. They're judged on the same type of criteria. And the Dahlia show also has a design show that goes with it, and so does the Rose show. The Rose show also has a arrangement area.
Are they judged on the same scale of points as the designs for the standard flower show?
Yes, except in the what they call the society shows, like for dahlias and for roses. 20% of the scale of points are for the condition of the flower. See, in a standard show, that's not true. You can use poor flowers in a standard show as long as it's part of your theme or if it's crooked or so forth. But in a rose show, you not only have to have a wonderful design, but you also have to have a wonderful rose. Yeah, so that's why they're very hard. Now, this rose I picked this morning, but see, some critter went and ate through the holes right here.
Would this be a wonderful rose?
Yes, see, because of the center. And you can see how this is not as symmetrical.
Would it
Although
be
this-
advisable to remove these outer petals when you're
Yes,
displaying your rose?
You can remove this outer guard petal.
They're not too pretty, and they don't enhance the rose at
You
all.
see how by grooming that, how it changed it?
But then you have to really make sure that all of the petal is removed. You can't have a ragged edge there, could you?
Right, no.
They'll find it.
And also, it has to be symmetrical, because,
And what does symmetrical mean?
well, when it unravels all the way down, that it is all even on one side as on the other side.
Balanced.
Balanced. And a rose show, you have to be 3/4 open.
Would you advise cutting your roses in full bloom? I would consider this full bloom. Or would you cut them just sort of 3/4 in bloom, hoping that tomorrow when you enter it, it will open?
Well,
I mean,
I have, depending on, that's part of the art of knowing when to cut. When the judge comes by and looks at it, they have to be 3/4 open. So if you have a dahlia or a rose and it is blown, which means that you can see the stamens on the inside.
past prime.
It's past
Is that
prime.
past prime?
So if you pick a beautiful rose like this is a full-blown rose. Well, this in another day will mature even more, while this one is still fairly tight. So actually, for its form, this 3/4 open actually has higher points than a full-blown one because they're supposed to be 3/4 open.
So this is a little better than that. That's a little bit too far.
Right, as far
Too
as
far
that,
in advanced.
yeah, as far as that point, you know. And also what's interesting about roses is that the judges also are looking at color, and also everything has to be named. So that if this is a Gemini, and so it's important that they be named.
Everything's judged against perfection, isn't it?
That's right. Now, in the standard show, if I know that this is a Dianthus or a Sweet William, but I don't know that it's ruby red Sweet William, there's no problem. But in a rose show and a dahlia show, you have to know the names in order to get the top awards. And we ask that the names for rose in the standard show, also for roses and dahlias, also be furnished because it's so important because of education to the general public. Because when they come and they see this rose, they'll want to know that it's a Gemini so they can go buy it. And
That's
that's why
right.
we ask that they be named.
It's mostly for the education,
That's correct.
educational value.
Okay, we enter our flowers on Monday of the flower show to be judged on Tuesday. On the rose show, it's open at 6 in the morning and until 10 on Sunday, and then on Saturday the dahlia show is the same thing. And you pick up your ribbons on the standard show on Friday evening.
And what are the ribbons? What ribbons are awarded?
Well, we give a blue ribbon, and there's a $3 premium for a blue ribbon. And there's the second place is a $1 premium, and then third place there is no
That's an honorable mention.
honorable mention, right. And we also, there's a youth section, and we make sure all children receive a ribbon of some kind.
How does someone receive the sweepstakes award?
Well, the sweepstakes is for a person who has entered a lot of entries and won. What we do then is add up like three points for a blue ribbon and 2 points for a red ribbon, and then we add them all up, and if there's been so many entries, and then who got the most points win the sweepstakes. So it rewards people who are going to enter a lot of things. Well, I think we've covered everything, Carol.
Everything but the best of show. How do you get that?
Oh,
There's one more.
there's one more?
Yeah.
Well, you get the best of show when the judges say, have the best of show award.
Is there a public voting on a best of show? Is there something like that?
No, we have what is called a People's Choice Award.
People's Choice, yes.
See, and this is the best of show
Okay,
award.
I think that's about it then.
Okay.
Good luck and welcome to the fair. Hope you join. Join us in
At the Western
Everything.
Montana Fair, yeah, thank you.